What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. We're back again with another video about old John Bercow and his bullying of his staff. John Bercow's bullying denial attacked as Black Rod exposes huge flaws in Speaker's defence. John Bercow came under fire from former Black Rod David Leakey after the ex-Speaker of the House defended himself publicly from claims of bullying while serving in the House of Commons. And given Bercow's whole persona and the way he acts, it really wouldn't surprise me if any of these are true. Now, we had David Leakey on the Today programme recently, so we'll play the little clip of what he had to say, and then we'll go through the rest of the article.
Obviously, John Bercow clearly doesn't understand or can't remember how the role of Black Rod operates in the Houses of Parliament. During my tenure, some, I suppose, 30% of my work as Black Rod was within or for the House of Commons. A lot of the activities between the House of Lords and House of Commons are bicameral, is the word we use, and I had very close working relationships with both senior and junior House of Commons staff and almost daily dealings with MPs.
So to be clear, you are alleging that in meetings with you, as well as meetings you've heard about with other people, to quote a word you've used in the past, he brutalised people.
That's right. And
what do you mean by intolerable rudeness and explosive behaviour?
Well, he would fly into a rage, the red mist would descend, and he would be jumping up and down and bawling out and shouting insults. He called me an anti-Semite once after being rather rude and insulting about my background, education and military career. And that's the sort of intolerable behaviour which I called out. And I think John Bercow suggested that this is a rather opportunistic speaking out on my part. Well, it's not opportunistic. I called him out 2 years ago, and I did so because I was speaking up for people who were either unwilling to speak out for themselves or, for one reason or another, I think some people have admitted that they had gagging clauses in their non-disclosure agreements when they left the House of Commons.
Yeah,
So there you have it, former Black Rod absolutely shitting on Bercow's lies, relating of course to his accusations against him. Because Bercow has been saying that this guy doesn't know what was happening because he was in the House of Lords, when as you've just heard, he has completely refuted that. The article continues though. John Bercow saw his chances at securing a peerage take a severe hit from former Black Rod David Leakey, after former Black Rod David Leakey presented a formal complaint of bullying, intimidation and unacceptable behaviour to the Commons Standard Committee. The former Speaker of the House denied all claims and insisted he could not have acted as Mr Leakey alleged because the then Black Rod did not work for him or for the House of Commons, but we just heard him completely refute that. Speaking to the Today programme, after Mr Bercow made the comments, Mr Leakey said, Mr Bercow, on his own admission, has said that we have had 2 altercations. He has admitted those, so that is the case. The most important thing is that Mr Bercow clearly doesn't understand or can't remember how the role of Black Rod operates in the House of Commons. During my tenure, some 30% of my work as Black Rod was within or for the House of Commons, as we heard during that clip. In his first interview since the complaint was lodged, Mr Bercow told Sky News that they were total and utter rubbish from start to finish. Yeah, of course you will, because you want to get a peerage and claim some more money off of the people you openly tried to ignore, you worthless fucking tosspot. I noticed how hesitant David Leakey was in developing his case, as though he was choosing his words carefully. No, he probably has to choose his words carefully because you'll try and sue him, you arsehole, if he said anything wrong. Total and utter rubbish. The first point is that David Leakey didn't work for me, he wasn't employed by me, he wasn't an employee of the House of Commons. We've already found out that really doesn't matter, you worthless shitweasel. The former Speaker insisted Mr Leakey is in absolutely no position whatsoever to comment on his behaviour during his tenure in the House of Commons. Well, I would say he seems to be in a position as he has lodged that complaint, so stop whining about it. We all know you're an angry little man, John, so don't try and hide away from it now. You are extremely pompous and think you're better than everyone else. Anyone with half a brain cell can tell that from your time in the Speaker's chair, especially over the last couple of years where you essentially made it about yourself rather than the role, or Parliament as you should. Mr Bercow continued. He worked in and was the protocol officer of the House of Lords. he is in absolutely no position whatsoever to comment on my relations with my parliamentary colleagues, of which he is completely and utterly ignorant. Well, you was completely and utterly ignorant to what the people wanted before the last election. So I'm sorry to say you have absolutely no right to call anyone else ignorant, you worthless prick. He doesn't know what my relations were with my clerks. He has absolutely no intelligence on those matters whatsoever. Well, considering we just heard him talking about it, I would say he does, because these people have actually told him. Mr. Bercow added, "What we've got here is somebody who left the house who is thrashing around, desperate to remain relevant." Sounds a bit like you, John, wouldn't you think? Popping up at every turn, trying to make himself seem very important, very centre stage, very at the heart of things, in the way that I went about my work. And that goes to show there just exactly what a tosser this guy really is. There is no one thrashing around, desperate to remain relevant, popping up at every turn, but you, bemoaning about your peerage that you are not going to get. And it will be a great day for this country when you get completely rejected for it, and we no longer have to listen to your shit. Downing Street said allegations about Mr. Bercow's behaviour were very concerning and should be investigated thoroughly. Former Commons clerk Lord Liverson last week became the latest to complain and handed a dossier of allegations to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards, which is something I covered at the time. Mr. Bercow denied the claims and accused the government of trying to stop him from becoming a peer. Well, I'm glad the government are doing that, because the people of this country want them to. Mr. Bercow said that since retiring, it has become increasingly obvious that the government had no intention of honouring the centuries-old convention that a departing speaker is promptly elevated to the House of Lords. Well, John Bercow, you run complete roughshod over the centuries-old conventions that you are sitting there moaning about now. Remember your time in Parliament where you started allowing SO24 debates against things that go against parliamentary procedure and there was absolutely no precedent for? Your clerks had even told you that at the time and you chose to ignore them so you could continue on your mission to deny the British people what they voted for and keep us in the EU, you worthless fuckpig. I actually can't believe he had the audacity to say that. It is completely unreal. Commenting on Mr. Leakey's claims, Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott wrote on Twitter, allegations come from former parliamentary official David Leakey. He had been a Lieutenant General who served in Germany, Northern Ireland and Bosnia, but claims he was bullied, i.e. intimidated and coerced by John Bercow. Unlikely. Now Diane Abbott, if I was you, I'd pipe down and go and see what your son's up to, because he might be trying to chew on some coppers or flashing his maggot at NHS staff. I can't believe you're jumping to the defence of a former Tory MP. Yes, we know he's a Labour MP in this day and age, but he was a former Tory MP. And you sit there as an 80 grand a year MP talking about how you're repressed. So a former Lieutenant General can be intimidated by John Bercow, especially considering John Bercow's role and publicity when he was the Speaker. So Diane Abbott, if this General can't say anything about being bullied, you can't say anything about any oppression you might imagine up, because you're a very privileged, rich woman at the end of the day. So I don't want to hear no more of your race baiting nonsense, you worthless fuckpig. I find it absolutely incredible that a Labour MP would be jumping to the defence of John Bercow, but it goes to show exactly what the last Parliament was really like. Now on that note guys, I am going to end the video there. I've been a bit under the weather the last couple of days, hopefully I should start getting better soon and I'll be able to pump out a few more videos each day. As some of you will know, I have started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you are interested in joining me for a chat in real time during one of my live streams, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or simply want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link to subscribe will be down in the video description and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now as always, I want to thank our YouTube, PayPal, Patreon and Subscribe-Star members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below, leave a like, subscribe with a notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot, and I'll see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going and we are glad to be going. We're off.
Ramon! Ramon!